Liverpool and of course the Black Stars of Ghana, we are all bound by compulsion to support the Black Stars of Ghana. So he can't say that he doesn't support the Black Stars, he does. So, I mean, you watched our game versus Cape Verde. Unfortunately, we lost. And we are facing Egypt tomorrow. We are facing a more tougher opponent in Egypt tomorrow. Do you think that the Stars have what it takes? Looking at the squad that we've assembled, do you think that they have what it takes to turn things around? Council.
So let me take this opportunity to wish your viewers a good morning, and my good brother and friend, good morning. Always a pleasure to be in his presence, in his company.
Yeah.
So, like you already said, we are all ardent supporters of the Black Stars, and we all wish the Black Stars well, because when Black Stars succeeds, it means we've all succeeded and all be happy.
Sure.
I think last week, Saturday, I was asked when I had the privilege of being on Alajan as in to give my felicitations to the Black Stars, as my goodwill message and what I thought about their chances. And to me, my view has always been that when it comes to international football, I know you're also an ardent follower of football, so you would understand this point. See, one of the basic difference between international football and club football. So whereas club football is a reflection ultimately of the structures within the club, but you can see how well a club is doing or on the pitch based on how strong their management team is. Something similar can be said about international football, except that in international football, I think it's a bigger reflection of your entire football policy, not just because really how long does the management have with the footballers. At most during international tournaments, a week or two.
Yeah.
And so usually, unlike club football, international football is a reflection of the football policy, because then it largely depends on the talents available to you. So that if you have not put in place a comprehensive policy that will be churning out talented players, then you'll be found out.
Sure.
Yeah, you understand. Also, largely, international football is also a reflection of your culture, your football philosophy. And I want to make reference to the English national team. Mm-hmm. When you follow England, they have, up until 2012, they had Leo Shaw, which produced their management. And they had a certain football policy. For them, the essence of football is to score goals. And so for them, then the policy was how their ability to fulfill that goal, as in scoring goal, is to get the ball or as quickly as possible into the opponent's half. And that's why when you watch English football, for a very long time, we used to call them a kick and run. Yeah, so that was the policy. What do you mean? I call it beam. So the ball comes and beam. And then the result was that, let me put it this way. So when you watch also English football, as in the 60s, fortunately there are clips. English football wasn't always our beam. When we watched the Boys of 66, when they won the World Cup, even 70, where in the opinion of a lot of people, that was the greatest English team in terms of the personnel. Their 1970 squad that lost or were eliminated in the quarterfinals by West Germany after going 2 goals up. They didn't play that beam kind of football. They put the ball on the ground and play proper football until a certain philosophy, and then they through Leo Shaw produced a lot of managers based on that philosophy. Now that philosophy changed in 2012 when they realized that, listen, even having had the benefit of their golden generation, the Stevie Gerrards, Lampards, Michael Owen, Beckham, Paul Scholes, all in one generation, Gareth Barry, and all in one generation. Wayne Rooney, the best they could reach in any international football tournament was the quarterfinal. There was a radical change. They felt that they needed a radical change in how their football philosophy. So they spent money, invested in St. George's, and even changed their philosophy. Right now, when you look at how England plays their football right now, it's totally different in all forms and shapes from how they played their football. The point I'm trying to make, and you see that change in philosophy has even impacted in football development in England at the local level, as at the grassroots level, you look at Ghana football. We've been to the World Cup. We've had so much money, and increasingly, our investment in football at the grassroots level seems to be dwindling. You understand? Imagine in there. So I started following Ghanaian football really as an ardently around 86. I was just about let's say 6 years or 7, but I started following Kotoko ardently and as a boy. And just imagine the kind of players in Ghana, in the Ghana local league in the 88-89 season, where Kotoka Joe Debra had Michael Osei, had Stanley Abura, had Isaac Kwache, Thomas Boache, you understand? All in House of Folk had Shamokui, Abdul Kuma, Santrufi Akwa. You understand? You go to Accra Great Olympics, Imanosaki. You see, one thing Ghana football had never lacked because of the focus on grassroots football in time past was the ability to produce talents all over. So all the clubs had players. Unfortunately, right now, because of the lack of investment in grassroots football, now what's the status of our coast football? We used to have Munchendi, they had coast all over. So I remember one of the programs I never missed was Sports Beat on Saturdays. And in sport, when we were doing sports, they only didn't discuss the first division at that time. But there was a whole discussion on course on the matches. So you had power lines from in Kotobabi and all manner. We are struggling, and it's not because even if we win the African Cup, I have to make this point, because there has consistently we fail to invest in grassroots football. So you have a situation where right now what we do is we go and do football. These are the guy who played 9. That guy called, I can't mention his name. Cornish Dorfer, the Kings something. No, Cornish means Kings. The Kings message was Yeboah. Have you ever? So we go and bring people from all over the world, and people who don't even understand our grow football philosophy. Because we have a football philosophy here, our grow football. See the football produce place, our grow. Yeah, you understand. All these people don't understand. They run around and right now Black Stars is suffering since 2017. How many matches have we won at AFCON? Now, having said that when you follow Black Stars for a very long time, there's something I find very strange. That's the ability of the Black Stars to rise up to the occasion when everything else is stuck against them. Maybe it's a reflection of the Ghanaian personality. Now, because of that personality, that let me say, lack of respect in a positive way. When I say lack of respect in a positive way, so the Ghanaian has that tendency to prove to you that, listen, you are nobody if you want to put him down. And you see, that kind of attitude has caused Ghana to raise their performances when all is stuck against them. You will take the last World Cup, our performance against Portugal, performance against a very good South Korean team. You go to previous World Cups, in fact the 2014 World Cup, our best performance was against the eventual champions. Germany. Yeah. Remember when Czech Republic was was on top of their game in 2006, Black Stars managed to demolish them. You understand? Now, because of that attitude of that Ghana attitude, I have a strong feeling that come tomorrow we will deal with Egypt. Mm-hmm. I have a strong belief that come tomorrow we will deal with Egypt, and all that we'll do is we will be to pepper over the cracks to beat Egypt. And then the Yawa will happen in the last match. The Yawa will happen in the last one. Because you see, you remember 2006 African Cup. I remember we played very well against, was it Nigeria or something? Played very well. And then when we got our hopes high against Zimbabwe, we went to do Yawa. You understand? Yeah. Because it's not that they can't do it. It's an attitudinal issue, as beyond all the issues with how our football is set up and the lack of investment at the grassroots level. But because of that attitude, I have a feeling that against all us tomorrow, Black Stars will raise their games and may cause an upset
against Egypt. Yeah.
But that does not mean that the problem is solved.
Yeah.
For me, my concern is the Mozambique match. My concerns in Mozambique, so they'll do very well tomorrow because Egypt is a big game. They'll all bring their game A. Against Mozambique, we'll go back to that. Mozambique, they were there. And that's when forgive my language, the yawa will happen. So I wish Black Stars all the best. I'm expecting a win tomorrow. But you see, we should not lose fact of the need to invest in the local football. Invest there. Once we invest there, and then we have a lot of players, invest in coaches, have a football philosophy, as in let us be deliberate. When we do that, Ghana is when it comes to football, is a world class. It's a world class country. Let us take our rightful place at the very top of world football.
Right. Don, good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you're fine.
I'm doing well.
Great. Let me come to you, Doc Mazu, briefly. Your expectations for tomorrow, our game against Egypt. Have you been following the exploits of the Stars?
All right. Well, good morning to the cherished viewers of ours, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. Special good morning to my colleagues. You know, it's always comfortable to be in the midst of a lawyer and an economist.
Right.
Yes. So I'm so much happy. Let me send a special greeting to the wife of my boss, His Eminence the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Dr. Rahman Sharu, and she is Hajia Masugana. She's watching us.
Okay.
She's a staunch member of a particular political party that I don't want to mention.
You don't want to mention.
I don't want viewers to associate me with that political party or any other political party. So Ajah, I think I have greeted you. Thank you.
The wife of the chief imam.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The honorary wife of the chief imam. Anyway, I also greet my mothers, the wives of the chief imam, Amria and Amria.
Right.
And thank you so much. Yes, you've asked a question.
Yeah.
The question is the answer is so embarrassing because I don't.
Oh.
Yes,
okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't because I'm not a football enthusiast. I'm not. But I have been a born supporter of Asante Kotoko.
Okay.
Fabulous, right?
Yeah.
We used to have phobia and fabulous.
Yeah.
So if as young as I was. So growing up, my brothers were very interested in football. Some of them were even players. In fact, my elder brother was a mate of Abedi Pele when they were in Ghana school.
Okay.
Yeah, so Abedi Pele is very well known to our family because my brother was a mate to him. And we've had brothers and uncles who were also mate to Cho, RTU, Mohamed Cho, Adai, and the rest. Even though we were interested in Fabulous, Asante Kotoko. That's that. Well, when it comes to international football, definitely by virtue of patriotism, I have to support Ghana. Right. So mine is just support for Ghana. But let me also add that in spite of my lack of enthusiasm, I strongly believe that the football international competition is not only about talents, it is also about honesty. The composition of the team should be a reflection of honesty, fairness, and justice. We are lucky that football seems to be the only area. In fact, I'm cautious of my words because I say seem to be the only area which is not overly politicized in this country. Yeah. That is another achievement Ghanaians should be proud of. So let the managers of the football, especially the Black Star, do everything possible to ensure that justice, fairness, and honesty rule their performance. And in that case, by the grace of Almighty Allah, we shall always be successful. But tomorrow's game will put me in a state of dilemma because I have had part of my education in Egypt, and therefore I call myself the second-class citizen of Egypt. And then my own country, Ghana. So I'm going to be in a situation where I will support either the first country or the second country. But at the end of the day, definitely Ghana has given birth to me, and therefore I will support Ghana.
Right.
I strongly believe that with all honesty, seriousness, the Black Star will perform very well. And I even want to disagree with Lawyer. I think if they put a better performance, the Yawa will not care.
Not against you too.
No, not against
Not against you. Even against Mozambique.
Yeah,
Right.
Yawa will not.
Done. Expectations tomorrow. Are your hopes high? Do you think that the Stars will deliver against an opponent that has the likes of, arguably the best African player in the English Premiership right now, Mohamed Salah, there?
Well, let me greet my two brothers, Doc and Abigi. And also greet your viewers and the people of Odorodiodo. I used to be a staunch Accra Suffolk supporter. Yes. I used to be a staunch. I am still, but not like before. I'm still a supporter of Accra Suffolk.
Still a supporter, but not staunch.
Not staunched. I would be at the training grounds at Haas Park, and I followed everything Accra Suffolk. The team that Mr. Coach Jones Atukwefiu took to the qualifies for Africa, basically the entire team of Accra Suffolk and all that. And those days it was, you can tell the positioning of players. You know that Jacob Cobson will be in the middle. You know that this person will be here and that person will be here. You can even predict what will happen on the bench and all that. It is all missing in our football today. If you ask me to mention 3 or 4 players in the Black Stars, trust me, I don't know. I don't know them. I don't know who is our goalkeeper. I don't know who is our striker. I don't know our midfielders. I don't know the back 4. Whatever formation we are playing, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't even watch. I don't even watch because I don't waste my time. A lot of people told me they were going to watch, and the time I think I was having a good chat with some friends, and people said they were going to watch, and I knew they would come back with broken hearts, and they did come back with broken hearts. I mean, yes, we might have not put in too much politics in our football, but trust me, the politics in our football is more than the politics out there that we do. And that is what has destroyed our good game that we used to enjoy so much. And we would pay and queue at the stadium to go and watch. But today, trust me, players who get in there do not just get in there because of their quality and what they are able to do. They get there because they are being managed by someone, or it is a project for someone to get a player seen at the top stage and raking money for themselves. There is no desire, that strong desire to win an African cup. The desire is to show up, perform well, right? Then be seen on the international stage, and that makes them money. For me, that is all. And so it is somebody's work. Nobody watch me when I'm in my office working. And therefore I cannot watch anybody also in his office working. Once your objectives are not aligned with my objectives, my objective is to see Ghana win, the pride that comes with it, that we have won the African Cup. That is, yours is to make hay, and get the world to see you that you are the best player and all that. we used to have players. We used to have players that get into a game and they change the game. If I ask you, among the Ghanaian setup, who do you think that sits on the bench, right, and comes in and change a game? None, nobody. I'm using Accra House of Folk because it has been a long time we have seen anything productive from the Black Stars.
Myself, Charlie.
You know, those days you know that when Ajogu comes into a game, Osmanu Baba also, there was this striker we had also. Amadou. You know,
he can come and change the game.
He can come in and change the game. Oh yes, when everybody was even insulting him, he will come in and get us the book in a House of Folk and all that. It is no longer there.
No more game changer.
You know, Ghana has become very poor to the extent that we don't have anything we can call enjoyment, except to go and drink alcohol. That is how this nation has become. I mean, it was only just this weekend I even realized that we were having a tournament. The African Cup of Nations was coming on. Yeah. I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, so we pray for the best. And I know they will come home soon. And they'll join us. Yes.
So you want to get one, but for win.
Oh,
They'll beat Egypt tomorrow.
Let's hope.
Well, we've always performed.
I'm hearing some 2-1, prediction.
For Black Stars.
Yeah, for Black Stars.
We've always done well.
That they'll win by 2 goals to 1.
With Egypt, we've always done well. Yeah. Even when the odds were against us, they had.
I remember some World Cup qualifier like that. We beat them 5-0.
Yeah,
6-1.
6-1. They had the best of players at that time, but we managed to scale over them. Maybe it will happen again, but you can't always be a lucky one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It can always be a lucky one.
No, but I don't think it's luck. I think it's a matter of attitude. See, when the Black Stars think that...
As for the Black Star, it is luck.
I think it's more attitude. What was consistently, they seem to do well against...
Big opponents, formidable opponents, yeah.
And then the so-called...
I don't want certain people to attack me, especially in my constituency. You want to say that they have become like Olidade?
Not like
Olympics too in recent times.
Not like only where Connors was the spoilers. Yeah. And Oli was the
wonder.
Yeah, when all the odds
are against them. So they have become
I agree with you. Because they managed to raise their games
when they meet stiffer opponents.
They're able to raise their games. Then when they meet the things they feel
look at the qualifier with Nigeria.
You
know.
And the Comoros because
See, I also want to suggest that I think it is appropriate for the Black Stars to assemble the team as early as possible, because they seem not to even understand the Ghanaian culture. I think you've mentioned that. No matter how good they are, I'm referring to the players, in their individual capacities, they may not perform very well if they don't know each other in the field. So it is important for the Black Stars to get the team members. Mostly they rely on the international footballers. So get them as early as possible, train them, let them have that collective spirit, and I think that can also help.
Right. Let's proceed. Let's move away from football. Let's have other conversations, and let's talk about the Liberian elections which just ended. George Weah versus Boakai. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way of the former footballer. But he has come out to say that, look, in as much as I lost this election and I feel that the people of Liberia may like me, I don't think that I'm going to contest. I would contest future elections. So he has entirely, he said that he wants to be a statesman and also promote the peace in Liberia. So to contest any other election in Liberia, for him, that is a no-no. I wouldn't want us to draw comparisons. I remember Goodluck Jonathan. I think he lost the election in 2013 or so. and he decided that he wasn't going to contest. I think in the 2017 elections in Nigeria, there were a lot of people asked him to actually contest, but he refused, decided not to contest at all. Unlike here, our former president John Dramani Mahama, it's a different case. He has decided that, look, I still want to be president. I feel like there's still a lot more I have in my bag to offer this country. But then, would you say that George Weah's, and I'm starting with you, Doc, on this subject matter, would you say that George Weah's, electoral defeat, he's had a role to play in it, that he wasn't able to fulfill the wills and aspirations of the Liberian people? So that's how come he lost in that regard.
Well, George Weah's case is peculiar. And he has largely been described as a man who has moved in his capacity as a sportsman to a statesman. And I think he wants to justify this assertion. So your question is simply whether his defeat was dependent on his inability to fulfill the aspirations of the will.
I'm asking this question. I mean, this question may just be, it may sound vague, but then I'm asking because there are schools of thought which suggest that there were other interests, there were outside or there were imperialist interests in that regard.
Yes, I think we once discussed
that
conversation here. Yes, here. But let me tell you, whether imperialist interests or not, it is still the responsibility of the citizenry to ensure that the country enjoys very good governance. So at the end of the day, theoretically, because those imperialist manipulations are allegations that can hardly be proven, right? And therefore, let's say when we cannot dismiss them too, because that's why we call them allegations. They are neither true nor false until they are established as truth or false. So, but then the people of Liberia have spoken, and whatever they've said reflects their will. And it is important for all of us to analyze the Liberian situation based on the will, the goodwill, the democratic will of the people of Liberia. He has made a decision, and I think that is his democratic right to make such a decision. I don't even know what the Constitution says, the Liberian Constitution, whether the Liberian Constitution will even allow him to run again or not. We do not know. But even if it is still constitutional on his part to offer himself for election, and he has made this decision, I respect him so much. I think that he hasn't been so much greedy. He has made, even if he made his own mistakes, this is a diplomatic way of confessing, of owning up and telling the people that he is not the only person. There are other well-qualified people who can lead the country. And I'm not surprised that he has made such a decision. The way he considered defeat alone justifies this assertion. He considered defeat in a very humble, peaceful manner. And it was important for us to commend him. And I think we did. We did commend him. He received a lot of commendations from the international community based on the way he accepted the defeat. Now from there, he is putting meaning into his acceptance of defeat by saying that he's no longer interested in the presidency. And we need to make a distinction. It is not that he's no longer interested in the politics or governance of the country, but that he's no longer interested in becoming the president of the country. That is good, and he has even made it that clear that he wants to be a statesman. A statesman can be functional in other aspects of governance. There are so many areas he can contribute to the well-being of Liberia, and I think he should keep his words. If he is able to keep to his words, then of course he will continue to receive a lot of commendation. For the imperialist manipulations, yes, you see, the postures of the imperialists and their allies on the African continent give rise to this mentality that, because even in Ghana or in other African countries, when the imperialists have an intention to change government, their approach to the elections is different. For example, they hide behind electoral reforms, they hide behind the well-being of the people, fairness of the election, whatever, to push for a particular candidate to win. And they do it in a very subtle manner, in a manner that leaves no room for evidence to really verify what is supposed to be the mentality. So at the end of the day, it remains within the context of mentality, within the context of suspicion. And sometimes suspicions are dangerous because they may not be the truth. Once they are bad impressions, they become very dangerous. So we cannot rule out the imperialist manipulations. But at the end of the day, as I said, it is the people of Liberia who will even allow the success of the imperialist manipulations or not. The elections are over. The very person for whom we are even fighting in relation to the imperialist manipulations himself is saying that he's satisfied with whatever happens and that he's no longer going to seek re-election in future presidential elections in the country. I think that is a very good decision, and it is up to the incoming government to try as much as possible to prove to the people of Liberia that they are really qualified for the mandate given to them. If they do not rule very well, then the people of Liberia will have another opportunity in future in a future election to shoot them down. And they should also, if they are interested, they should also investigate this allegation of imperialist manipulation in their country, because it is an insult to their sovereignty. And if they are interested, I know they may not be interested because they may be interested in only the victory. But if they are interested and they are really patriots, then they should have a kind of investigation to establish the veracity of that allegation. And if it is true that there were instances of imperialist manipulation, then they should devise certain mechanisms by which the imperialists will not have another opportunity to interfere in elections. And I want to believe that elections have always been the soul of governance. But the elections themselves are not in isolation, they are not alone. The managers of the election, and that is why the most important institution in election is the electoral management body, whether the electoral commission in our case, or international or whatever electoral body or what electoral institution, whatever the name is. That electoral institution should be seen as the most important or critical organ of the elections. For the manipulations to take place, definitely, if the electoral institution is manned by people of honesty, transparency, and credibility, they will be able to resist this kind of manipulation. But if they are not, definitely they will sit down for such manipulations, whether imperialist or even domestic, to take place. So at the end of the day, all I am saying is that yes, the former president has taken a very good, or the outgoing president, because the incoming president, government has not yet been sworn in. So the outgoing president has made a bold statement. He should live by that statement, and if he is able to actualize it, he will continue to be a hero of Africa in terms of politics and governance. Let me take this opportunity to tell Ghanaians that we should also learn from this. we should learn from the peaceful nature of the Liberian elections. I'm not saying that any former president cannot contest, but all I am saying is that Liberian elections were largely peaceful. Let ours be more peaceful, in the supreme interest of the state.
Thank you very much, Doc. Let me come to Don.
Bless. Well, I think I would prefer to give the commendation to the Electoral Commission of Liberia.
Sure.
I think that it has been a very peaceful elections. 8 people did not die.
Sure.
Looking at the history of Liberia, and they have been able to do this. They've had about 2 transitions so far.
Sure.
From the former President Sirleaf Johnson, right, to Iya, and then to Bouake now. And I think we need to really commend the people of Liberia for doing this. I don't know why we want to blame imperialism for whatever, because the only imperialism in Liberia is corruption.
That's it.
Yes. I mean, for me, I believe he lost the elections because his people have had very high hopes in him, you know, before he gained the throne. And it was business as usual. I would even say that the things got worse.
Sure.
Because I know of certain business people who were in there, who were trying to secure some jobs and all that, and help the Liberian people, and the frustration and all this, you know, demands on them and all that. I mean, corruption in his administration was not fought. And for me, I think that is what he shot himself with. We shouldn't blame any imperialism for our own deficiency and our own appetite for corruption. If you have ministers around you and you cannot check them, and everybody is doing what they like, I mean, this is what happens. And at least the will of the people, the choice of the people have been made to stand. For me, that is the most crucial and important thing we all have to talk about, and urge the Liberian people on to continue in that stead.
Sure.
That when they have disagreements, when they are not happy with whoever is in leadership, they have their thumbs, and the mandate is with them to decide to kick the person out or keep the person in there. And I think it is a win for democracy for now. It shouldn't get to a stage like we have gotten to, where we really don't have a choice. We know it is getting us drowned, but we still have to wait, hold on till the time. Then I think that Bouake should also learn a lot from his predecessor, and know that whatever he promised the people of Liberia, he fulfills it, and they should try as much as possible. That's quite a small country. The economy is not that too huge. They haven't got into a stage in the economy like we have, where we are in a state of hopelessness. At least they can do something about this. And together, if everybody is able to do a little on the continent and of the West Coast, I think gradually we will build our economies together. We should remember we are all units. We are just one unit. We might see Liberia as Liberia, somehow a bit further from us, but their economy, how it is positioned and everything, impacts on the people of Ghana. What we do here equally impacts on them. And it will shock you and surprise you. There are a lot of families between these two nations that they kind of travel in and out. When it is good here, they move here. When it is good there, they move there, and all that. I envisage a day that we would break all these useless borders, and we will be able to move freely within these states and make sure that we build our economies together and become strong enough to call our own shots and all that. Apart from that, we can only really commend their EC. We did not hear issues about indelible ink. We did not hear issues about 3 o'clock. We did not hear any of those issues, and they have had a beautiful elections. The incumbent lost, and the incumbent had said that I will not contest. You tried to draw a comparison, and I know where you were going with that comparison, because even if you don't say it, I will say it. You know, that it is a bit different from what President Mahama is doing. But you should have also remembered that it is not him alone. At least Trump is also coming back. So, you know, the circumstances are all different. If you look at where Trump got off, if you look at where President Mahama got off, it was like unfinished business. Let's get in there and do it well. And the hopes and aspiration of the people that those who were taking over, like Biden, would turn things around. What did they not complain about in the US under Trump? That he's putting up the border, blah, blah, blah. What has changed after Biden took over? The situation is worse. The economy, right? The economic issues. What did they not say about Trump regarding the economic issues? Under Biden, it is worse. Law and order. Yes, law and order. They recently, I think a month ago or so, had a worse case of a military man, ex-soldier, went in there and shot and killed a lot of people. Yes, and these are the things we are talking about. When you are coming on and you promise the people that this is what I'm claiming to do, it is a social contract. You must fulfill it, right? And of course, if you look critically at what is going on in the US, it's not far from what is going to happen here as well. Because look, even in their primaries, you can see Trump is leading. Iowa, you know, the talk and everything. Look, with all the propaganda against Trump and against the GOP, the guy is still winning. And that is similar to what is happening here. The media is so much against President Mahama, either to issues that can last for 1 week, 2 weeks, right? And people will be
if you say that the media is
I won't say some. I won't say some. I will say the media. You know, the issues they will hold on to for weeks, and President Mahama vanishes within a day or two today. You know, and all that. Well, time should change. Time should change when it is the NDC in power, and what time should also change when there is MPP. At the bottom line, what the people want, is not Biden, Trump, President Mahama, Bawumia. It is none of those. What the people want. Yes, Afafranto, Island Tremantin. Yes. And then I understand there is a young man coming also. What was Cheddar? So let me add him also.
Maybe he's still young.
Add all of it. What the people want is their progress. What the people want is prosperity. What the people want is positive growth. That is what the people want. If any government or any president gets into the seat and we all see this is what he's driving, we will all follow. And that's the bottom line.
Right.
It is no longer anybody's property.
Right.
Or anybody who is a chosen one or a birthright. Politics will change.
Right.
It will change significantly in this country. And that's why sometimes I congratulate our people from Afafranto. That they are changing the face of politics, where people can stand up to some of the nonsense that have gone on for a long time in our political atmosphere, and I congratulate them for that. They've taken a bold step. I pray that they hold on to it. I never saw a third force, but with what they are doing, if they keep at it consistently, it might not yield results today, but in the future, it might determine how our politics is run in this country.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Council.
I think today we are in a very football mood, because you can't mention Georgia and not think about football.
Exactly, yeah.
When I was growing up, I was football crazy. I'm still football crazy, but when I was younger, it was at a different level, and I loved Abedi to a bit. And I mentioned Abedi because at that time Georgia was like his direct rival, and one of my biggest regrets was because of my love for Abedi, I did not really appreciate the genius of George Oponria as a footballer. As in, watching him now, as in the clips, he was a phenomenal, and he was a phenomenon, and all the attributes he showed on the pitch, as in, gives credence to his mettle as a human being. And there's one thing we say in the football, as in football, after the football match, where we don't speak about the referee, that means that the football match, or that means that the referee has been very, very successful. Yeah. You understand? Because in football, when after a football match and then nobody's talking about the referee, and that means that the referee has been very successful. And I hold a similar view to the EC. That when after an election or during the electionary process, nobody is talking about the EC. That means that the EC has done a yeoman's job. So I want to take a leave from my two brothers here in congratulating the EC. As in, we have so much on our plate, so as in, I think the Don and my brother have done a very good job at discussing upon here. But to add that, one, there's something Bill Shankly said in 1973 or 74, when Bill Shankly surprisingly resigned as Liverpool's football manager, after what had been very successful, as in he is considered still to be the greatest manager in Liverpool's history. When he was like, I have taken the club as far as I can. I think that's something similar to what George Oponria is saying. He's had a self-introspection. Nobody knows him better than himself. He doesn't realize that, listen, the only reason why he should want to be president is because you think there's something you can give to your nation. He's done an introspection. He's considered his age. His age when the next elections will be held. And he said, listen, I've had the opportunity to serve my nation. I think I've given my nation all that I can. Sure. I don't think I'm going to put myself up for elections come 2029. You mentioned Jonathan. That does also mean that where you still believe that you have something to give to your nation, then you cannot, or you are stopped from putting yourself up only because you've lost what's called an election. You understand? But in the context of how politics is done here in Africa, I think it's very refreshing to hear George Oponria say what he said, because the way people have conducted themselves, presidents have conducted themselves, the thinking is that, or the feeling is that people want to be president, not necessarily because of what they think they can give to their country, but because of the trappings of power. So for a person like George Oponria to say that, listen, I think I've given, or I've taken my country as far as I can. I don't see myself putting myself up in 2029. We should commend him. We should commend him because when you mention upon the first black man, or the first African ever to win the Ballon d'Or, he was sensational for PSG, and he made a lot of money. And you see, one thing I respect about Japan is in the 80s and 90s when, well, maybe I was young, but I didn't, Liberia, who thought about Liberia when it came to football? This man's commitment to put Liberia on the football map, especially at a time when they were in the middle of a civil war. You know, they were playing their home matches here in Accra. They even beat Ghana once at Accra Sports Stadium. In the state of civil war. And he was, and the situation was so bad. He was practically managing their football. You understand? Because he had and that's what I'm saying. That when you watch him as a footballer, his attributes, it gives credence to his mettle as a man. And I think this is a feather, is a cap in his feather. So a feather in his cap. Yeah. This is a feather in his cap. So I'll commend him. It's very refreshing, but it should no way take anything away from John Mahama's attempt to be president again after losing. You know my position. I don't support his bid. I think Alan Chamantin will do a far better job. But that in no way should stop or take anything away from his bid. Because he's also done a self-introspection. He thinks that he has something more to offer the country. Like I said on Alaja Radio on Saturday, that when Mahama was leaving power in 2016, personally, I thought we would never see a worse president than John Mahama. In 2024, come 2024, I've been proven wrong. Yes, I've been proven remarkably wrong. So maybe John Mahama himself sat there and said, is this the alternative? Probably I still have something to give. I disagree. I think otherwise. But that should in no way stop him from contesting or from using that as a reason to take anything away from his bid. At the end of the day, per our constitution, he can still contest. He's looked at himself. He still thinks he has something to offer. My brother here gave a very good example in Trump. I think Trump is even about 77 years old, and even in spite of his age, Trump thinks he has a lot more to offer the people of the USA. How much more His Excellency John Mahama. So as much as we are congratulating or commending George Oponwia for the step he's decided to take, it should no way become the standard, or we should not feel that we are shackled by that step. No, I think that we have our own issues here. We have our own issues here, and very, 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 very grave issues. And if Mama thinks that he has something to take, has something to give, let's listen to him. Let's consider what he has to take, what he thinks he can give. Make decisions about the direction the country is going. Personally, I think it will be in the interest of this country if we change directions, and that change will be to allow Alan John Chamantin to lead. Should consider his great transformational plan. Should consider the man, what he's done in the past. Should consider what his model of change can do, and the principles and the values that underpin that movement, and give Alan John Chamantin the chance. But having said that, I don't think what George Oponwia has done should in any way take away from from Mama's decision to contest the next elections.
Right. I want to ask you a question.
All right.
Doc, I want to find out from you. Do you think that, looking at the economic mess in which we have found ourselves as a nation, for anybody who would ascend the high office of president on 7th January 2025, the person would need some grace period, or as Mahama himself put it, or as the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources put it, honeymoon period to to do a real assessment of the issues and try to restore this country back to normalcy. Because according to the former president, if you look at the extent of damage done to the economy, and it's not even clearly visible because those at the helm of affairs will not particularly come and tell you that these are the real issues, unless they are leaving office and they balance the books for you to see what the real issues are. So he says that if the NDC wins the 2024 general elections, Ghanaians, we have high expectations. We don't care whether the economy is in a mess, and so but we have our own expectations, and we feel that once you can't immediately, we need to see a difference. The difference should be visible. But he's saying that, look, Rome was not built in a day, and that may not, or that cannot happen overnight. So give us some time. Yesterday on the show, I asked one NDC rep what time would refer to in terms of whether it should be a particular number of months, perhaps a year, perhaps 2 years, or maybe even the entire 4-year duration of his presidency. What is the time frame? You understand? But do you agree that anybody who ascends the presidency would need that time to make a real assessment of the issues before taking decisions that would, inure to the benefit of the country?
Yes, I do. I do, because that is in line with the politics of sincerity. However, that kind of politics is almost non-existent in our body politic. What is more prevalent is the politics of insincerity, politics of deception, a politics of more promise, less delivery. And that is why we have a problem. In fact, it is important for politicians these days to tell us the truth and to measure the feasibilities of their promises. Because once you present yourself as the solution to every problem of ours, then of course we'll hold you on when you come. But the reality of the situation is that economic prosperity or governance is not an event. It is a process. And anything that is in line with the process must also respect time. It starts from one point to another. So clearly, it is important, and I'm happy former President John Mahama has made it clear. Let critics even come after him. Let people, even in his own party, let those in his own party disagree with him. But at the end of the day, that will be the reality. The economic situation in this country is so precarious that after the election, whoever wins should be given a reasonable period of time. Whoever defines that reasonable period of time, I leave that to the judgment of Ghanaians. But no one can instantly inject economic prosperity into our situation. It is not possible. We should accept it is a reality. Let me give you a classic example. People are thinking that this is the first time a president, an elected president, in the future is going. No, this is not the first time. If I want Kufuor won, you were in this country. Doc, you were all in this country. When Kufuor won, at the time, the economy was seen to be badly damaged. It was not at that time. So Kufuor, first of all, appealed for goodwill of Ghanaians, and he enjoyed that goodwill. But people started complaining, but Kufuor constantly appealed, former President Kufuor, His Excellency, he constantly appealed for goodwill of Ghanaians, and that goodwill helped Kufuor. To be frank with you, if you ask me, the best government in the Fourth Republic, it is that of Kufuor. That's the best. I won't tell you the worst because every reasonable person knows the worst. You understand that? But if you are smart, You may think that a particular party in the Fourth Republic produced the best government, and that same particular party may produce the worst government. You understand that? Yes. But the best government is that of Kufuor. And Kufuor enjoyed the goodwill of Ghanaians. Kufuor did that, right? And that was why, systematically, we were taken to HEPIC. HEPIC helped us a lot. When we were going to HEPIC, I still remember the opposition. And of course, that was their role, the opposition. They were, Kufuor has given, he has even disgraced all Ghana. We are among the poorest country. Highly indebted. But at the end of the day, we all became beneficiaries of HEPIC. So there is the need for politicians to accept the reality. I don't know who supports the president in this statement and who doesn't, and I don't care about that. What I am saying is that what former President John Mahama has said is the reality of the day, the reality of governance, the reality of sincerity of governance. And I think the politicians have now begun to understand that we now need politics of sincerity, politics of reality, politics of honesty. The propaganda is too much. How can somebody instantly change our situation simply because he has been given the mandate? It's not possible. It's not. It's not possible. Not even the movement with a high, ambitious national plan of national agenda. It's not possible. It's not. You may have the best plan, but the execution of that plan itself needs time. It's a matter of time, a reasonable period of time. However, whoever wins should be able to tell us how reasonable that time that he or she wants us to give him or her. We also need to know. It is our democratic right to know. If I want Kufuor appeal for the goodwill, and Ghanaian offered him the goodwill, it didn't take him much more time, right? The first government of Kufuor actually made Ghanaians happy. The second government actually made Ghanaians happy. You understand that? So we are expecting that Ghanaians should begin, the politicians and the electorate should begin to accept the reality of politics of honesty, so that we, the electorate, will not expect more or unreasonably more from the politicians. And then the politicians will also cease to bombard us with unrealistic promises, with no timelines, and only to come and inflict on us bad governance, corruption, mismanagement. We should accept the reality. It is time for us to know that no person can instantly change the situation of Ghanaians simply because he has been given the mandate to govern. So it is important. It is a factual statement reflecting the honesty in governance. That is about governance. Perhaps we want to be more partisan. We want to be more political, and that is why there's the need, in terms of, that's why there's the need for us to strike a reasonable balance between politics and governance. One is a means to another. Politics is a means to governance. So when it comes to politics, fine, you can say all kinds of unreasonable things, and gullible people may be convinced, but when it comes to governance, I'm telling you, you are going to be exposed. Because the same gullible people whom you have convinced to accept your mendacity will now demand their fair share, and they will demand good actualization of your mendacious statements. They want you to actualize those statements, those promises. And the actualization, of course, becomes impossible, especially in our situation. So I think former president, I commend him for introducing into our politics another dimension, a dimension of honesty, a dimension of limitation of man, the dimension of reasonable time, the dimension of competence in terms of a reasonable period of time, the dimension of reasonable expectation from the electorate and the dimension of the of reasonable ability of the politicians to govern. Let us all accept that. I don't want to talk too much, but that is a reality. Of course, if we want to be realistic, that is a fact. And those who will come and tell us that immediately after they are voted to power, again, they will turn around to give us what we want, or after they have voted into power, because not all of them have been in power because any person can win. Right? After those who will tell us that when they are given the mandate, they will instantly change our situation. I'm telling you, let Ghanaians understand that it is not true. What is true is that they may need time. We need to give them time. And if they themselves have begun to tell us, then we must commend them and help them to do whatever they want to do. But I'm not saying that we should help only former President John Mahama. I'm saying that we should help all those who are contesting the presidency. It is our democratic and civic responsibility to help all presidential candidates in a manner that will enhance the quality of democratic governance in this country. At the end of the day, those who have convinced us will have our mandate. And we are expecting, in fact, I'm not a foolish person. I will not expect any president, anybody who wins, to instantly change things in this country. Right. I will definitely expect that Ghanaians give such a person a reasonable period of time so that at the end of the day, we all enjoy good, sound governance.
Right. Thank you very much, Doc. Let me come to you, Council. Would the movement for change need some time, grace period? Will Alan Chairman need some time to look at the issues before, hitting the ground, running?
So as for the issues plaguing our nation, I think it's been the same issues since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. The main issues, especially when it comes to the economy, lack of jobs, lack of inability to raise revenue, lack of consistent flow of foreign exchange. I think the issues has largely been
across. Yeah.
You understand? So I think we all know the issues that are plaguing us. The question is whether or not they need a honeymoon. I'm looking at it from two dimensions. When it comes to the actions, the policies, you understand? Now, the causes that will necessitate the change, I don't think you need a honeymoon period. You understand? Because like my brother rightly said, when you want change, there are certain actions, but there is like, for want of a better, you want to give birth, so you must go and do pam pam pam. You want to give birth, you just
say it as it is.
You have to go and do pam pam pam.
So what is pam pam pam?
Coitus.
I did dance. Pam pam pam. I did
You
have to go and do pam pam pam.
You guys are speaking Chinese.
Oh, you have to go and share. You have to go and share. You have to go and share.
Yeah, all this is Chinese.
So you have to go and do
Sumu Sama.
You spoil the Chinese.
Now, even when it locks, it will take another 9 months for you to give birth. And that will take a number of years for you to become a man. So you are all full-blown men now. It's taking a very long time for us to be. So, but the beginning was the pam pam pam. You understand? Without the pam pam pam, there will be no human being, and there will be no opportunity for that human being to grow.
And that one is instant.
That one is instant. That one there's no honeymoon period. You understand? So the policies, the causes, the actions that you think will necessitate those changes, there can't be a honeymoon period. You need to hit the ground running, so far as those things are concerned. However, the results, and I'm sure that's what it was. You see, the results may take some time. But even then, as in when you spoke about President Kufuor, he hit the ground running with
policies,
and within about 2 years, 3 years, we
saw the results.
But to be fair, he also came out to say that look, he knew things were bad.
Yes.
But he didn't believe that. He didn't think that it was that bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now where we are now, as in the unfortunate situation where you see what President Kufuor and all other presidents have not had to deal with is the lack of credibility that we are going to face now. Because whatever beautiful plans you have, you need money. Yeah. Whatever beautiful plans you have, you need the. One of the biggest problems here is that we don't have a private sector. We don't have a private. Sadly, unfortunately, we've finished the government money. So see, whoever will be in power next year, the so-called people who want to be ministers and want to have the positions, don't have. Is it luxury? But I don't think, because when I say luxury now, I'll be legitimizing rather than don't have a situation where they can play with any lose money. You understand? So our inability or our refusal to build the private sector has caught up with us. You understand? I know my brother here will do better with the situation. I understand. But the truth of the matter is that our refusal to build a private sector has caught up with us. So, and also we have a situation where our intermediary system, as in the bonds and all those, people's trust in going to put their monies in the bank is gone. You also have a situation where we've also lost credibility with at the international market. So money is going to be a problem. My personal view is that we will need a very long period of excellent leadership to get ourselves out of the hole. We will need so many years of excellent leadership. That excellent leadership is a leadership that has a clear understanding of what the problems are. One. Two, that has a clear vision of where he thinks the country ought to be. And three, has in place a clear plan to execute that vision. And of course, we keep on talking about we not having a national agenda. Take your time and go and read the directive principles of state policy. I think the agenda for the country has been set out there. The political agenda, the economic agenda, the social agenda, the education agenda, it's all been set out in our constitution. And they even went further to say that when we are taking these decisions, we should have those principles in mind as the principles that should govern, ought to govern and direct your decisions. And interestingly, when they were listing the people who would take decisions, the first people were the citizens of Ghana. So when the citizens of Ghana are going to take a decision, that decision come December 7, 2024, we should have at the back of our mind the national agenda, which has been set out clearly in our constitution. The direct principles of state is there. You understand? And then ask ourselves whether or not His Excellency John Mahama has what it takes. Fortunately, we've seen him before. You see, so he's a devil that we know. We've seen him before. But for this calamitous leadership, I don't think Ghanaians would have thought about him. But for this calamitous leadership, this leadership that has put us in the hole. But I want to thank my brother here. He said something very profound. Extremely profound. Maybe when he was saying himself, he didn't realize it. But extremely profound. He said that President Kufuor is the greatest leader we've had in the fourth. I stand on all forces with that statement. Then, in a subtle manner, my only regret was that he did not. I don't say the word courage because I know my brother has enough courage. If he wants to say it, he will say it. He just wanted to be mischievous. But you see, it can't be mischievous because he was saying the truth. He said that the same party and the rest has managed to produce in his opinion, the greatest.
He said if you are smart enough, you read.
But I'll say it. I think Nana-Addo is the worst leader in the Fourth Republic. In my opinion, is the fourth. But the reason I said it's profound is how possible. We all keep on saying we are going to vote for the NPP, we are going to vote for NDC. How possible, if that's the situation, how is it possible that one party can manage to give us arguably the best leadership period, and the same party in the same generation? It's not like the people have within the same generation managed to give us the worst leadership. They should tell Ghanaians that, you see, we don't put executive power in the hands of the party. And that was why Saturday, I said it, I said that for me, my brother, they don't hear. And if you tell me we didn't know each other, it's just a matter of we meeting on set and then having conversation and cleaning. And it's not about his nice person. He supports Manchester United. How can you be a nice person? How can you be a nice person? How can you be a nice person when he supports Manchester United? You see, it's not about the niceness. It's about the quality of the human being, the ideas, the principles, the leadership.
Don is suffering just like me.
Yeah, so it should be.
Whom and are we? Whom are class of folk? I am suffering. Manchester United, I am suffering.
But you that's a stocking trade. They don't tell you. You went. How can you be Champions League in 60? How can you be Champions League in 68 and go to relegation in 74? That's a stocking trade. You understand? You see, but you see, it's not about the niceness of the man. They don't a very nice person. Except that he's a man you and he supports House of Folk. That's all. But it's about the quality of the human being, the quality of leadership. You understand? And for me, when you are quality and you can do your job, I don't really mind the party. I won't lie to you. I don't really mind the party. If I believe that you can give Ghana, but then when you are president over Ghana, and when you succeed, so whichever party, when you succeed, we all succeed.
Sure. Very
you understand? So for me, the way I do my politics, I only think about the party really when, let's say in 2024, when we are come to do elections. Sure. And for me, I don't give the NDC presents a leader who can do the job and has demonstrated that he can do the job. I don't care. Yes. You understand? If NPP presents a leader and the leader is not solid, you understand? You started the movement of change. You understand? It's about Alan Chemanti, because I'm so convinced that we have the man who can start the process of Ghana rising again. You understand? So then Ghanaians, back to the point. So Ghanaians should, when we are thinking about choosing the leader, it's not about the party. Because MPP has shown to us that they are capable of sponsoring somebody who, up until now, is still the greatest leader we've had in the Fourth Republic. And they are also capable of giving us a leader who, in all intents and purposes, is the worst leader. Is he even a leader? He's a president of Ghana, but is he a leader? You understand? And I don't want us to go into the nice man. Anybody who knows him will say that he's a very nice man, lovely human being. You understand? But is he a leader? It's not about whether you are nice or whether you are not nice. We want leadership. Yes. Is he a leader? Do you have a clear vision? Do you have the... Because you see, when you're a leader, you can be petty. When you're a leader, you must understand it's not about you. When you're a leader, when you are taking decisions, it should not be individualistic in nature. When you're taking a decision, you should consider people you don't know. What are my people you don't know? Yes, really, people, those of us living in this, you do not know us. But most critically, you don't even know those who will come after us, the fourth generation, fifth. You should be thinking about them. You understand? Sure. You should have that firmness of conviction. And I mean, there are things that I don't think our current president has. You understand? He's a nice person. He's lovely, and also people like him, so they vote for him. But we want a leader. We want a leader. You understand? And a leader will understand that you cannot have a honeymoon. We can't afford to have a honeymoon. In 7th January, you must hit the ground running. Before 7th January, you must know the plans that you are putting in place to try and resurrect. Because right now, are we dead, or if we're dead, there's no hope. We're in a coma, a very serious coma. You understand? To start the process of reviving a giant, because Ghana is a giant. Ghana is a giant that has been in a coma. So we're sleeping under John. So we were sleeping for a very long time under John Mahama. Kwame Nkrumah said something from us. He said that we are asleep now, we are awake. Then we slept again when John Mahama became president of Ghana. And Nanado has caused us to go into a coma. Right now we are in a deep coma where we need reviving. Remember, if we need reviving, then the doctor who is going to lead the revival cannot have a honeymoon period in terms of the courses, the policies, in terms of the application of the medicine. But having said that, we, the people of Ghana, also need to understand that the effect of the medicine, the effect of the plan may take time. It may take time. It may take time. You understand? So if that's what he means by honeymoon, I don't really know, because we are discerning. The same manner where we managed to give Kufuor time. Because Ghanaians, people should not assume that we are not stupid. No. We are very discerning. And so when Kufuor having put in place good policies, and we having seen that he was not extravagant when he was president. What cars were the ministers? You are driving some Peugeot, this thing. But when you come and tell we should give you time, and then we see you driving, flaunting VAs and hiring what's called private jets and living lavishly, then we won't give you that honeymoon in terms of the effect. Yeah, because when the economy was tanking, clearly, this president didn't demonstrate that he's empathetic to the plight of the people of Ghana by his lifestyle, by the lifestyle of government. So when you tell us that we should give you time, and for me the time is not the cause, so the time is the effect.
Effects, right.
Then you, the leader, must demonstrate to us that you believe in what you are saying, but even how you spend.
Yeah,
understand? So that's my understanding, and I can assure you that when Alan John Kojo Chamantin becomes president of Ghana on the 7th of January 2024, he does not need any honeymoon in terms of the policies. He's going to
roll out
immediately. Yes, we must start building the private sector. It's going to be difficult because right now we don't have the benefit of money and even the banks. But you can even roll out policies through a tax system that will even compel the banks to want to at least support. You can roll out a loan guarantee scheme, a government loan guarantee scheme. It won't be easy. But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, when it comes to problems, and I'm damn sure that my brother here will do a better job at explaining. But when it comes to problems, we all know them. And I think the solutions to the finance and economic people will tell you is there. We need to build a private sector. We need to build a robust private sector. We need to deliberately build prosperity among the private people of this country. Deliberately. We need that. We need to build a strong, small and medium scale enterprise. That's our problem. And insofar as taking steps to do these things, there can't be a honeymoon period. And I can tell you that Alan John Kojo Chamantin does not need that honeymoon period. Because when he becomes president of Ghana 7th January, after his swearing, he didn't come and say that I'm going to protect your public purse when you open it ajar for anybody that talk to enter, and if you attack your private purse. He didn't say that. I can assure you. He didn't come and tell us that, listen, I'm going to protect your private purse, when he really his intention is that he's going to open the public purse ajar and even attack your private purse. Yeah. He won't come and sit aloof for the mineral resources of this country to be stolen like has happened. He won't sit there and allow our river bodies to be polluted like has happened. He won't.
Right. Because,
like I said, he has a clear vision. He has a clear plan. And that plan is to build a strong and robust private sector. Because if you ask me, that's the solution.
Right. Thank you very much. Don.
Well, there is this beautiful lady watching me.
Wow.
From Okanshin. She's called Samira. Greetings to her. Let me disappoint you. I disagree with everything they have said. With all the verve in me. There is no gestation period. There is not going to be any 9 months period. Ghanaians are not prepared for pam and then another 9 months.
Oh, so you're not ready for what? Pam.
No.
It's pam. Say it well.
It's pam.
Pam, yes, say it well.
Right. Everybody who has intentions in running these elections in 2024 have hired a biting government. From Alan Tremantin, he's been in government. This is the second time that he has been in government, and I think in all times he was a cabinet minister, if I'm right.
Yeah.
President Mahama, 8 years ago, was the president of this republic until he handed over. Bawumia has been a vice president for 8 good years. They all know the solutions. They all know our challenges. It's the solutions they are putting out there for us. And where I disagree is that, look, let us not pamper anybody. That, oh, you would have some goodwill. You would have some time to, get things in place. My brother, that time is now when you are supposed to think.
Yeah.
And profess solutions, implementable ones, not the ones you would use just to win elections. Governance is no longer a joke. Anybody who is coming onto the seat, which I believe it will be President Mahama, must be able to hedge in the sense that the risk already we have taken on with our debt, he must employ other investments that will reduce those risks. This is non-negotiable. He has to leverage our finances in the sense that the investments that we will put in will provide us the necessary returns to pay off our headache. This is also non-negotiable. He has to revive our financial sector, which is a secondary market to the primary market. Which therefore means that the primary economy itself must do well before the financial sector does well. It is not about putting in your plans, because every plan will have 2 results. It will either go wrong or you will be successful. And nobody can tell until you implement them. Nobody can tell which will go wrong and which will go right. And therefore, this business of our politicians telling us all the sweet things they can do, and I am part, because I'm a politician. And we must start taking politics serious. It is not for done heads. It's not for dummies. Politics is a serious business. It's about the life of our people. People can die because of our mistakes as politicians. Just that it is not direct like the doctor with a patient. But it is time we take things serious. We don't talk about honeymoon in politics. It is only in Ghana that you hear people talking about honeymoon in politics. Which honeymoon? If you want honeymoon, go and marry and do the pam pam pam, like he's saying. In politics, there is no honeymoon. And it is time we become... This language should be alien to us. It shouldn't be tolerated by anybody. Look, if we don't change our language, we will never get the results we expect. Because everybody can come in and give excuses. I can come in and say, well, I didn't know this is how the situation was, so give me time. No, Ghanaians are not going to give anybody time. You must get in there, know what to do, and do what you have to do for us to succeed. You must always monitor whatever policies and program you put in. You don't just put in a program like with this government did with free SHS. Just put in the program, roll it up. Let's just do it, and we are just doing it. Even when we realize is that, look, the results churning out is not the best, we are still on it because we believe that it was a flagship program, it was a program that got us to power, and therefore, if we have to retain power, we still need to keep it. Look, my brother was talking about credibility. Locally, we don't have the credibility. Our bond market is wiped off. You will not put your money in any bond in Ghana. I wouldn't. My brothers here will never do it. Even when they hear the name bond cry, they will be running away. We need an alternative financing route for the private sector. And this should be the number one project of a government. Yeah. I don't see a country developing where all the investments are made by governments and expect returns to the same returns from the investment made by government to prosper the nation. It is the private sector that will provide that needed development for us. You cannot kill the private sector and expect a nation grows. What are the avenues for the private sector in raising capital? Banks. That's all. Recently, we added this microfinance and all that so that our petty traders and market women can, and thanks to this current government, BOG governor and the president, they've wiped it off, basically. You know, the cost of capital is so expensive that it doesn't make business sense. It is driving inflation. And we sit here and we're talking about how inflation was imported and all that. No. If I have to borrow over 30%, how, with all my expenses I need to pay for, all my overheads, how much margin should I put on it for my own gratification? What it means is that your cost alone is out of range. And as a nation, you are not competitive. Because if I'm coming to Ghana, I will compare the cost of water. And I'll compare the cost of water in Ivory Coast. And if that is a determinant, I will choose to go to Ivory Coast. I will compare the cost of doing business in Ghana. The cost of one staff. Right? And then I will say, look, let me sit my somewhere. Or let me go to an alternative. We do all this. We know all this. We are involved in all. Then you see a president get to power. Right? And then we'll go and put somebody like the person in Ashanti region. That guy in Ashanti region. We'll go and put him in the Ministry of Trade. That is the beginning. And that is why I said I disagree with you. Because there is no sincerity in politics. Let's be frank. Let's speak to it. There is no sincerity. Nobody in politics have realized that we need to be sincere. How can that chairman in Ashanti region, how can somebody think of putting him in, let's say, the Ministry of Trade? But it is possible in Ghana. We put people who have no business being where they are, and we expect results. It starts from there. But can the president who is coming in do otherwise? These are the people helping him to come to power. And therefore, where is the sincerity? There will be no sincerity. Forget it. Honesty, there will be no honesty. Let's speak frankly to the issues confronting us. That is the only way we can surmount them, bring them down, and cross over. If not, this nation, in the next 5 decades, will be an embarrassment to the extent that you bless wherever you find yourself, you will not call yourself a Ghanaian. Where we are driving to is dangerous. Yes, I want to see hope. I want to see that things will change. I don't want the rain to rain on my roof alone. I want it to rain on every man's roof. But each and everyone who is seeking power today must know that the Ghanaian will not have the patience again. A hungry man is a hungry man. And therefore, it doesn't matter. Yes, there are certain positions you can give to anybody. But where we are, the sincerity will start with every step we take in government. In fact, the first day, it will start in the kind of kente we wear or agbada we wear to the swearing in. It will start with the kind of people we will invite all over from all the African continent to come and witness the swearing in of our president. It will start with the cost of organizing that program, huge program at the Black Star Square, and the money we will spend on that. It will start even with the shoe we will want to wear. Because we are in power, we need to change the shoe. We have to go for the Portuguese shoes to wear. We have to look classic. It will start with every step. And when the Ghanaian is able to see and point to the efforts, genuine efforts, with all honesty, that look, these guys mean business. They want to do something with us. You will not ask them to give you time. Anybody who asks for time is only asking to give excuses in the future. I am a politician. I understand that it will be difficult. Things are going to be difficult for the Ghanaian, for whoever is taking over and all that. But that mentality is so absurd, to say the least, that look, give me time. Are you saying we should give you time to make mistakes? Are you saying we should give you time for try and error? I'm saying that so far, all three, with the exception of the other guy.
Cheddar. All four. All four. Okay.
Except with him.
Yeah.
I don't think he was anyway. But look, all three, they've had a bite in government. They are well experienced. Nobody should ask for time. There is no honeymoon.
Right.
Every step they must take must be seen by the Ghanaian to be prudent and effective to be followed.
All right, thank you very much. This one here, I'm reading messages. This one here says, good morning, Bless. The NPP government's exhibition of open display of wanton spending and the pension for borrowing has plunged Mother Ghana into the deepest hole, which some experts project a 15-year recovery period. His Excellency John Mahama, we really need the goodwill of Ghanaians to fix the economy, hence his call for some sacrifice from Ghanaians. Okay, thank you very much.
So let me, I just want to say something. So,
right.
See, if we contextualize this discourse, then there won't be any need for disagreement.
Oh, yes.
Because at the end of the day, that you have disagreed with us theoretically,
yes,
but practically you are with us.
Exactly.
For instance, both of us have made our submissions based on condition. But mine is that if conditional clause if we pursue politics of sincerity, and I'm happy you've mentioned sincerity. If you pursue the politics of sincerity, then we should give them the opportunity. For example, you mentioned the revival, or for a better word, the consolidation of the private sector. I know by your own experience, it is not a matter of instant effort. In other words, you cannot revive the private sector, which is dead, right? Instantly, it's not possible. Two, you cannot also. You mentioned the change. You know, the sincerity should change on the day of the election. Let me even bring you back. I don't think it is the case. It should rather change during in the pre-election area. Yes. For instance, yes, the sincerity should start from the electioneering campaign platforms. Let those who will campaign tell us. They should give us realistic promises. That is where. That's when the campaign. Sorry. That's when the sincerity will start. Then the sincerity should, from there, move to the day of the election. Because whatever we are doing is dependent on the sincerity of the Electoral Commission itself. So the Electoral Commission should be sincere, and those who will win the election themselves should be sincere. So in a context, all that we are saying is that when it comes to the realization of the beautiful policies, definitely
you see, I am not cutting you short, but I just want to chip this in. That in terms of the something, let's use the bond markets, right? All the bond market we have created in this country is for governments. Right?
Yes.
Government does not have the credibility.
Sure.
Creates bond market for the private sector.
Yes.
And you don't need 100 years. Right? You just need to put it in there. And I will be prepared to give my money to the private sector, to borrow, to put my money in in an investment pool, right, for it to be used as a debt for production. I will not be prepared to give my money
to government.
Okay, so
you see, it is just
one policy,
one policy to switch over and create that environment for private sector, so that the private sector either that has to go onto the market and borrow at a certain rate. I and you can give our monies to them, and debt in the sense of preference share or whatever, right? We can borrow it to them, and we can monitor their work and production.
Fantastic.
I can look at it.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
So you and I are saying the same thing. Yes. At the end of the day, you realize that even in a situation of a dead economy, even the money that I am supposed to give you is non-existent, and I need time to generate that money, and that is exactly what we are saying. I mean, at the end of the day,
the money is there.
In the
you really see what we found on somebody's bank.
Those are out of the regime.
The money is there to the extent that today, even with our local debt, we have non-resident investors joining us in there.
Right. Thank you very much.
Once the conditions are there, we can even have people coming over.
Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Whatever we have,
time is up.
we need time.
I'll assemble the same team.
That time is not there. Ghanaians are not
prepared. But contextually, we are saying the same thing.
Yes, but you see, the thing is, nobody is going to give anybody time. People are hungry. I know. People